So today I just want us to talk about red flags, and I'm going to share with you some of the red flags that I personally know. Yeah, so if you also have red flags, please comment down below on our YouTube page and tell us some of the red flags that you have come through in relationships. Walimwes Saseni, thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Not Done Yet podcast. And today we are tackling episode 5, which comes just after the 2 swindling episodes. So today I want to talk about relationship red flags. Red flags are warning signs in relationships. A lot of times, these warning signs are very visible. You can see them, but somehow we just don't take them seriously, and then we end up in very, very, very terrible places sometimes. So today I just want us to talk about red flags. I'm going to share with you some of the red flags that I personally know. My first red flag is this sentence, what are we? When I was a young, really naive girl, I remember I used to like a guy so much, I thought we were in a relationship, but he used to treat me so funnily, and I kept asking him, what are we? What are we in this relationship? As in, do we have a relationship, or what exactly is it? Baby girl, if you have to ask a man what you are in a relationship, then let me tell you, let me break the news to you. You are absolutely in no relationship with that guy. Because when you start a relationship, you normally define a relationship. What you are in the relationship, your goals, your expectations, etc. But now, if this guy is frustrating you to the point you have to keep asking him what you are, it is time for you to leave. It is time for you to leave and just go and just never look back. You will heal as you go. The next one, I'm a very private person. So I have to make it clear that privacy doesn't mean hidden. When you absolutely know nothing about someone, when you don't know where he stays. A friend of mine used to date a guy. She didn't know where this guy stays. She was in Kisumu, the guy is in Nairobi. She's never visited him in Nairobi. So if she would want to see the guy has to come to her place. I found this so strange, and I kept telling her a lot of times, how can you date someone and you don't know where this person stays? It means either this guy is married, or this guy is hiding something, or maybe this guy has multiple relationships, and there's maybe someone who's already been taken to the house, so you can't be taken to the house. I find it so strange. By the way, don't date someone and you don't know where this person stays or where you can get him. Like, in an instant like this, if you need him, can you have access to him? So if you cannot have access to this person and you don't know where they stay, that is a huge red flag. It is time for you to move out of that relationship, or whatever it is that you are calling it. All right, another one. When you don't really know what somebody does. This one, a lot of these funny men love this, So when you ask like, what do you do? I'm in business. What kind of business? Can he explain? He can't even explain. He just keeps telling you, I'm in business. But now we want to know the business that you're doing. Even if you're a CIA agent, tell us you're a CIA agent. Hakuna mambo ya business. Because a lot of times you will find these people who cannot really define for you the business that they're doing are either wash, or just huge con men. So please, if you meet somebody and he can't define for you what he's doing, personally, I have a business. So if a man asks me what I do, I tell him I have that business, I bake, I'm a bachelor, I do a lot of other things. I'm able to explain myself. Why can't he explain himself? So that is a huge red flag. When this man disappears, both online and offline, for days at a time, then resurfaces. This also happens to a lot of girls, a lot. You date someone, he disappears for a really long time, then suddenly he comes up and they're just excuses, and you cannot really understand what really happens. That's why there's this saying, check on your man over the weekend. He may just be getting married. And I hear this kind of scenario has happened to a lot of people. You're there thinking your man is just out with his friends. They're going to Vasha for the weekend. Kumbe, dude is at the altar getting married.
This episode of Not Done Yet KE has been brought to you by Mkubwa Beauty Parlour.
All right, guys, as I was saying, the next one is when he is rude to wait staff or people who he feels are beneath him. That is usually just a huge red flag. I remember this one time I went on a date with a guy, and was there shouting the place down, banging tables, talking like, hey, my God. You know what? I just decided to pay my part of the bill and leave because what the hell is that? This means this man is just acting towards you. He's not really nice, because if he cannot be nice to those people, then who will he be nice to? He's just nice to you because you're on a date, and then when you get into that box, his real self comes out. So please really be careful with such kind of people who talk down on others, who are really rude, who feel that others are beneath them so they can treat them the way they want. That for me is a really, really huge red flag. It is important to just be a respectful human being, regardless of whoever you're dealing with. Hata kama ni mtu wa boda, hata kama ni watchman, hata kama ni, just be respectful. Everyone is hustling out here. Everyone is looking for something for their families at the end of the day. So for me, that is a huge red flag. And also, this one will be debatable, but paying for the first date. As a woman, I think that is a huge red flag. If I am the one paying for the first date. You see, like my story of the swindler, I paid for the first date because dude didn't have money. He was in between jobs and stuff like that. So I said, okay, let me just pay for the first date. You see, as a woman, when you decide to pay for that first date, it's a slippery slope. From there, it just goes down because this man now sees, this girl is able to do ABCD for me. So, and that is exactly what happened. So after that, I kept paying bills. I paid from the first bill and I continued paying bills because this guy felt like this woman can pay bills. So, it was another bill on top of another bill on top of another bill. Please, do not pay for the first date. Absolutely not. If a man wants to meet you, go on a date with you, let him pay for that first date. If he doesn't have money, let him look for money first. Then he comes and then you go on that date. It is not, it's not a must. Come on, M-pesa, wait until that time that you have money. And I also think if you have no job and if you're not really able to take care of yourself, you have no business dating. Why do you want to date someone? Are you dating somebody so that you can swindle them? So please, ladies, don't listen to these men who will come at you. Oh, he's not working, but something will come up. No, absolutely not. Nope. When he's ready, when he's focused, when he's having a job and when he can take care of himself, that is the right time for him to come and look for you. All right. So when you have just met a man and he wants to come to your house and meet your kids, like what is the urgency of him coming to your house and meeting your kids? Already saying things like, how is my daughter? Sijui nini? Please, it takes time to know people. So like for me, the swindling that I just told you guys about, this guy just wanted to meet my daughter immediately, started bonding with her immediately. I regret, of course, but it is in the past. That's why I'm sharing some of these red flags. He was all over my baby. Like he wants to know her. He wants to be daddy. Already calling her my daughter and stuff like that. For me, that is just a huge red flag. Please, it takes time to know people. It takes time to know someone. And it is important for you to do a background check on this person. Which reminds me, you see, I never did a background check on this guy. Now, the funny thing is, I never met any of this guy's friends the whole time I dated him. I only met the family. And of course, family will always protect you. Family will never really tell somebody the truth about who you really are. So I wish I had met a few friends because, of course, I would have probably asked. I don't know if I would have listened to them, but at least I would have gotten some warning signs from his friends, or somebody would have just said, let me help this girl and let me tell her the truth. Because the funny thing is, after this whole incident happened and I was telling people what had happened to me, everyone was so sad and they were like, I wish we told you this because we know him, we know the kind of person he is, and we just didn't know how to tell you. Imagine, I actually got people who told me that. So I'm wishing that I had met some of his friends at that time. And yes, it's a red flag. Like, how can you be dating somebody and he doesn't have friends? How come he doesn't have friends? So it is a huge red flag if you're meeting somebody and he doesn't have friends. And also for your children, please be very vigilant. Don't just be introducing anyone to your child. You don't know what kind of person you might be bringing to your house. Don't bring a man to your house the first time. Get to know him away from your house, away from your children. And with time, bonding takes time. It's not something that happens overnight. So yes, don't go introducing your babies to all the men you meet. Some of these men, just uko tu kwa bar penye mulikutana, or at the coffee joint or whatever. You don't need to bring everyone home. By the time you're bringing somebody home, be sure about that person. By the time he's coming home, you already know his family. He already knows your family. You know where he stays. You know where you can get him. You have access to him and those kind of things. There's a lot that you have to do as a woman before you bring a man home to your kids. And I'm happy to say after him, I have not brought any dude home around my babies. Absolutely not. So that is a huge red flag. So please be really, really careful, especially where kids are involved. Don't be so easy and gullible, because the thing is, when this guy starts building a bond with your child, you'll already start feeling like, oh, your heart is feeling like, oh, he has a really good relationship with my daughter. And that's exactly how I felt. There were red flags, but I was feeling like this guy has a really, really good relationship with my daughter. So let me just try it out.
This episode of Not Done Yet KE has been brought to you by Barbie Cakes Ksm.
In my mother tongue, there's this saying, don't be in a hurry to go somewhere where another woman has just left. And you see, this should be a real big red flag, because I don't think anyone who has just left a relationship or a relationship has just ended, let's say a marriage. In this case, a marriage had just ended. That person had no business getting into another relationship immediately, you see? And to make it worse, this person didn't even have a job by the time he wanted to get into another relationship. Why would he even be getting into another relationship? So that is a huge red flag. If you just met somebody who, he's recently divorced, I think people should take time. If you're divorced, you should take a bit of time before you start dating again. So if you just meet somebody and he was recently divorced and he just wants to start another relationship with you, and the family is also eager, you see? Actually, that is also another red flag. When family is really eager to have you there, they want you to settle down with their son who has just left another marriage. Surely, isn't that a big red flag? And these signs were just there, but I don't know why I never just... I don't know. Was I in love? Maybe you can say that. Or I don't know what else you can say, but that is also a huge red flag. So don't be in a hurry to get into a relationship where another woman has just left. You just never know what you're getting yourself into. So until you're sure about somebody, you have taken time to know them, you are comfortable, you can define the kind of relationship that you guys are having, and all checks are green, then you can do an introduction to even your babies. Otherwise, just forget about it. They're just people out here who are just looking for women to swindle, and they will lie to you. They'll come up with a sweet tongue and you might listen to them. So you have to be extra vigilant, pay attention, and if something is wrong, please ship out immediately. Don't wait for it to escalate to the point you lose money, to the point you lose assets, to the point you're paying bills for a whole family. It is not fair to you as a human being, and it's not fair to anyone else. So please, let's be careful. And I hope you people read those warning signs. Every other damn time you meet somebody, please check on those red flags. Walimwes, thank you so much for listening to the Not Done Yet podcast. And please follow us on all our socials. We are Not Done Yet KE. And yes, by the way, we are not done yet. You've just met this guy. You've introduced yourself. You've told him about kids. He's already calling your kids his children. What the hell is that? My children are Jay. As we just met each other this today. Why are you calling my children at your children? That is just a huge